Hello and welcome to this week's IGTV. Today I'm talking about, is your teenager dividing your marriage? Like, is your teen parting the waters between you and your partner where it's got you feeling left out? Like you're feeling like a third wheel in your own marriage or your own partnership. And it's starting to create some really destructive results. And not only are you not connecting to your teen, but you're not connecting to your partner because now you feel so left out of this like whole little partnership that they have going on, and you want well for your teen and you want them to connect with one of their parents or your partner. So you're like, well, what do I do? Like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I want them to have someone to talk to. Okay. I want to explain this and break it down. I just had a conversation with a mom about this, and I've seen this a lot over the last 16 years, and it can happen for a number of different reasons. And there are some very well-intended, yet very negative long-term consequences to this whole pattern, this divisive pattern that teenagers love because they want to pit you against each other, right? And not noticing this as the parent because you are doing your best and you want your child to have one person to talk to, and you're glad that that's somebody. But this is common. It's very, very common. Okay. My name is Allie Payne. I am a certified life coach, certified relationship systems coach. I'm one of only 70 people in Canada to hold both certifications. I have been working specifically with parents of teens for the last 16 years to help them end the painful disconnection, emotional blowups, and stressful silences to create relationships with open, easy conversations, mutual trust and respect that your teen wants just as much as you. So, okay, I'm going to dive into this. And if this sounds like anybody that you know, I would love when I post this to my Instagram feed and to YouTube and all over, that you share it with someone who it sounds familiar with. I'm going to try and explain this in a way where it sounds palatable, because this is never anybody's fault. I am not here to blame and shame. Zero. I'm even going to own myself a little bit in this as well. Okay, so here's the situ. Here's the 411 on what's going on. Let me describe this a little more in detail. So let's say your teen daughter. I'm just going to use daughter for example. Let's say your teen daughter, you're the mom. Let's just say you're the mom, you've got a teen daughter, and your teen daughter wants nothing to do with you. Like, you aren't just the spawn of Satan, you're Satan incarnate, because your teenager wants zero to do with you. And your teen has been through some issues, some hard stuff, okay? Maybe they've been through bullying. Maybe they've been through like ADHD diagnosis, anxiety, depression, self-harm, eating disorder, like some serious things. And so your concern, of course, is that your daughter has somebody to talk to. Now, let's say your daughter chooses to talk to your partner. Now, I'm just going to use husband in this case, okay? Let's say your daughter finds a connection with your husband, okay? Or their dad. Maybe you're co-parenting, okay? Go with me on the examples here. I'm just trying to make this so you understand the situation. So your daughter is leaning into their dad, and they're starting to, like have their own kind of jokes, and their dad seems to be able to kind of draw them out a little. Whereas with you, it's like stone cold Austin, no words, no facial expressions. I'm not your friend. You get nothing. But with their dad, they'll share small amounts. They'll joke around a little bit. They will even go with their dad to do certain things, I mean, maybe they want zero to do with you. I mean, zero. Like, so they'll go for school supplies with their dad. They'll go like grab a coffee or a movie with their dad, but they won't do anything with you. Okay. So first of all, super hurtful. Like, can we just acknowledge that for a second? Also, I'm sorry about the shaking. Like, my house is a disaster with probably moving and everything else anyway. So I don't really have a studio right now. So welcome to my living room. So I'm just holding my phone with my hands. So I apologize if I'm getting really shaky, but summer, cold drinks. Okay. So it's really painful. That's really, really painful as a parent. I don't care if you're the mother. I don't care if you're the father. It's very painful as a parent when your child shuts you out, but isn't just shutting you out. When your child is treating you with not just disrespect, because teenagers do treat you with disrespect. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying teenagers are raw. They are emotional. They're moody. They're spicy. Disrespect is kind of part of the journey. And knowing how to effectively navigate it is critical. I'm now talking about when your teenager is actually treating you with contempt. So contempt is one of the 4 studied, proven toxic communication styles. And contempt is actually the worst one. It is the one that when someone has been on the receiving end of contempt, I don't know, say a marginalized community in our world, trans, black, brown, gay, a lot of marginalized communities. When you're on the receiving end of contempt, it actually changes the wiring in your brain. That's how serious, how toxic contempt is. So when your teenager is treating you with contempt, it is a way of attempting to reinforce power over you, to let you know that you are less than, that you are a waste of skin, that there is so much disdain for you. And this is often when anger has been unheard or unrecognized or unexpressed over a long period of time, and unaddressed anger can become, constructive anger can become contempt, to the degree that it literally is like your teen feels they are a more worthy human being. Like you are just of lower value. You're kind of disposable. They are better than you, but not even in like an ego way. Like literally they have more value than you as a human. That's contempt. I hope that's clear on what contempt is. So this is a bit of a dynamic. So I'm just trying to break this down into the bits so that I can get you to see what's going on. Now, here's what that might look like. It might look like your teen literally does not speak to you unless it is a scoff, like whatever. All they ever do is scoff at you, eye roll. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, now that can just be anger, but I mean when it is, or unexpressed emotional need, which is also very common in the teen brain. I mean when this is like ongoing all the time, okay? It is ongoing, and those are the only words that they have for you. They're rude, disrespectful, and constantly that kind of scoffing, eye rolling. There's no other things they ever say to you, ever. That is likely contempt. It's not just your average disrespect, it's contempt. Now, follow me here for a second. There is an antidote to contempt, but right now I'm talking about how this dynamic of your teenager dividing your marriage is actually getting set up and it's perpetuated, not by your teen. Sorry, bad news. Okay, so your teenager's been through a whole lot of hurt and struggle. They are leaning into their dad, just as per example, okay? You could be a dad watching this, maybe they're leaning into their mom. They're leaning into their dad for a trusted adult. And they're sharing little bits, and they've got this kind of jokey thing going on with dad. You know, you are 100% absolutely not included. In fact, you are deliberately, by your teenager, not the dad, you are deliberately excluded from any of the humor. Exclusion is a version of power. It's not just a boundary. It's intentional exclusion, okay? And your daughter's leaning into your dad. Now, here's what ends up happening. Because you are so wanting well for your daughter who's been through all these struggles, you're like, well, great, at least she's sharing with dad. So I guess I just need to I feel super hurt that she's not sharing with me. I feel super hurt that I feel so excluded, but I guess her needs are really important. So I guess, no, that's a hell no. No, I guess you do not deserve to be treated like that. And here is the twist, kind of the slap in the face about how it gets going and perpetuates. The dad also wants well for this teen daughter, right? Her dad wants well for her. Duh, of course he does. What ends up happening is, because we all have an ego and we all want to be chosen, we all want to be picked. Think of in elementary school when the PE teacher, when the phys ed teacher was having you guys form teams, and you always wanted to be picked. It is a normal, natural thing in our human brains. We want to be chosen. We want to be picked by somebody. We want to know that we have value. We want to feel loved. We want to feel important. We want to feel special. That's normal. Okay? Those are all the things the dad is feeling. He's feeling chosen. His daughter has chosen him over you. Now, I'm not saying he sees it this way, and this is why this awareness is so critical, because teenagers will divide marriages, will divide partnerships if this runs amok. The dad is feeling chosen. He's feeling special. He's feeling like he has something with his daughter that you don't. And bless him. Bless him all kinds of sideways for being a safe and trusted person for this teen daughter, right? So this is a good thing, right? Yes, and what ends up happening is that by being this kind of private, sort of inside person for the teen daughter, hydrate, he is allowing her, the teen daughter, to treat you with disrespect. And he's making it okay because it keeps him in the chosen group, as opposed to being the not chosen person. He's loving this thing he has with his daughter. And please don't sexualize it, okay? That's not where I'm going with this. He's loving this being chosen, because not often dads get to have that kind of relationship with a teen daughter. It's not as common. And so he's sitting in the high seat going, oh my gosh, look I have this relationship with my daughter. She comes to me first. She tells me things. That's awesome. Love it. Good on ya. This is where what dad doesn't realize is going on, and you as the mama may, again, flip the situation if that's for you, is that what ends up happening is called parentification. And that's why I'm doing this video. Okay, it's called parentification. So let me just describe this to you. Parentification is when a child is given roles or responsibilities typically associated with a parent. In simpler terms, it's when a teen takes on an adult-like role within the family, often becoming a partner with another parent or a caregiver for younger siblings. And this can be due to various reasons, emotional or physical unavailability, divorce, illness, financial hardship, death, etc. Okay? So here's what ends up happening. The daughter begins to see herself as an equal partner to the dad. So from a healthy hierarchical perspective, two parents, I don't care if you're co-parents, if you're like living in the same house, I don't care. You got two adults, two parents, okay? This child, partly out of means of survival, partly, look, this child's not broken and they're not Satan either, okay? It's that the teen brain will do almost anything to experience influence, because they're constantly being talked down to, told they're not old enough, they're not tall enough, they don't know enough, they're not skilled enough, blah, blah, blah. And so they want to experience influence, power, or control over or with something, just something in their life. And they'll find an in any way they can because they're also normal and human. So they find an in with dad. And they figured out, dad is more willing to be my friend than my parent. Dad is feeling special and chosen. This teen is feeding his need to feel special and chosen. And dad, liking feeling chosen, because he's also human, is now allowing this teen daughter, to treat him as a friend, and he has vacated his role as dad. Healthy authority and hierarchy of dad. And he has become friend. So from a hierarchical perspective, healthy, we have two parents, two adults, okay? I don't care. Two adults and a teenager. Not only are you on the outs, because you're the not chosen, you're the evil, terrible, scoffy one, you're over there. Dad has now lowered himself because he is abdicating his role of authority, which is healthy and necessary. The teen daughter has raised herself up to be dad's equal because you see, they're friends. They're friends and you're just annoying. You can't do anything right. Is this sounding at all familiar to either in your life or in a friend's life? Or maybe you see this in how you were raised. Type yes in the comments if this is sounding at all familiar. So this is called parentification. And when dad becomes teen daughter's friend is when we have an issue. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. All right, good. So when dad becomes daughter's friend, now we have parentification because now the daughter has raised herself to the equal authority level as dad, and they are colluding. Collusion is what happens in parentification, is now the dad and the daughter are a team, and you have set up an us against them mentality, us against them, and you are the them. You're on the out. So Aaron, doing more and having hobbies together is a good thing. But if your husband is not aware of this dynamic and how quickly, well-intended, I can't say that enough, how quickly this can go off the rails, then it is going to create issues not only in your marriage, but with the daughter. And here is why, okay? Because now that dad is friends with the daughter, because he wanting well for the daughter and wanting her to have someone to talk to and feeling chosen and special, has vacated his authority role, he is no longer in service to her as a parent, because now he's lowered himself to friend and she has raised herself to equal. And this is where it gets real toxic, because as the parent on the outs, whether that's you, the mom, or the dad, this happens often between moms and daughters too, and the dad is on the outs, also toxic. You are not here to be your teenager's friend. You can be friendly. You can have a lot in common. You can have amazing conversations. Why is my nose always so itchy when I'm on a live? Ugh. But your daughter is not your equal. Your son is not your equal. Okay? So, the key here, oh my goodness. The key here in what I explained to this mom that I was talking about is, first thing, it's not okay for your daughter to treat you with contempt. It's okay for your daughter to be angry with you. It's okay for you and your daughter to have a rocky relationship. Does it still hurt? Yeah, it does. And this is why I walk parents through this, because understanding how to allow your teen daughter to be angry with you, which is important, that she's allowed to have her feelings, and you hold boundaries for respect. It is not okay that she scoffs at you. It is not okay that she gives you, nuh-uh. You do not need to like me, but we do not do that kind of disrespect around here. If you've got something to say and you're angry and you want to bring, go ahead, let's do it. Bring it. But we will not do that level of disrespect in this house. I will not treat you that. I do not. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I do not treat you that way. No, you don't have to like me. But there will be respect. And I help parents to set those boundaries with exact scripts and walk through this. So that's step number one. Just because your daughter is struggling and has perhaps been hospitalized and outpatient services and self-harm, etc., does not mean that you are now the doormat. No, and not on my watch. You are a human being and you deserve the same respect and dignity that your teenager does. And allowing yourself to be the doormat, my sweet, precious friend watching this right now, is also contributing to this problem. This is not about fault or blame, but we do all play a role in setting up relationship dynamics. And yours might be that you have allowed yourself to be your teenager's doormat for the purpose of their betterment or their mental health. And I'm here to tell you that's not going to work, because they're not dealing with anything. They're just projecting it all on you. No more doormat. Boundaries, respect. Even if you are never friends, which I understand would hurt. Okay, so you need to stand up and start setting some boundaries about how you're willing to be treated. Okay. Number two, the chosen parent needs to stand up. You can be the chosen parent and awesome. But if you are loving being chosen so much that our own natural insecurities have you having vacated your role, your natural and healthy role of authority as a parent, you are also part of the problem. So I said to this dad, like, first of all, good for you. I know that you love it. That's great. You are not here to be your daughter's friend. And by being her friend, you are perpetuating that she is treating her mother in a way that is really disrespectful, and you're allowing it. You're making it okay. So you can be your child's trusted advisor, dad, and say to your daughter, when you see the way that she treats her mother, be like, hey, that's not okay. That is not okay. You and I can have our inside jokes, and you are welcome to share with me, and I will keep those things private. We do not do that level of disrespect in our house. You don't need to share with your mom. You don't need to be your mom's friend. But the dad has got to stand up and start advocating for the level. Stop putting his own need to feel special and chosen before his need to be the dad or a parent. And keep a healthy hierarchy of parent and child. It doesn't mean about having power over someone. It is about laying down the behavioral norms of what respect looks like and what it doesn't, whether we're besties or not. So that's dad's role in this, okay? And it takes two. Now, I see this happen really often. And moms of daughters, it could be dads of daughters. And what ends up happening is the daughter, and I'm going to take this to another level. The daughter becomes the substitute for what's not working for the husband. So if the husband's not feeling special and chosen in the marriage from his wife, he will allow this because his daughter's choosing him. And I don't mean sexual, I mean relationally, okay? His daughter is now choosing him and he's feeling special in a way he's not getting from the marriage. And this is how teenagers divide. Teenagers don't come in with some superpower like Moses and the staff and part the waters like the Red Sea because they're magical. No, they don't. They can only do it in a marriage where there's already a gap. I hate to break it to you. And it is the same for moms of daughters, for moms of sons. I'm a boy mom. I've done it. I have done this. I have an incredible relationship with both of my sons, both of them. And I have been in the situation where I caught myself and I was turning to my sons to feel special. I was turning to my sons to feel that need and that relational closeness because it was missing in my marriage. And that is parentification, my friends. And it is toxic. And it is unhealthy. And I remember the moment I was standing in my kitchen and the moment I caught myself doing it with my son and I was like, oh my gosh, stop. This is on me to heal. This is for me to address in my marriage. This is for me to address with their dad. This is not, because what ends up happening is if you're doing this because you are feeling chosen and special, not in your marriage, so you're allowing that need to be met by your child, you are now putting an emotional pressure on your child that creates higher levels of anxiety because they need to keep making sure you feel special. They need to keep making sure you feel chosen. But they're also fulfilling their own power dynamic of making sure that by bestieing one of the parents, they get to have power over and exclude the other parent. Parentification is any situation where the child has been allowed to become an equal with any one of the two parents, and it is very common in situations of divorce. And now it's one parent and the kids, and it's like you and us, and now we're besties. It's very common in situations of death in the family where one partner has passed and the other partner, bless them, just doing the very best they can, raises the child to equal. And what ends up happening for the child is the child becomes very entitled. These are kids who get their first job and believe they should have the corner office with all the windows. It's an entitlement because they have been seen as equal. They do not understand a healthy hierarchy, healthy sense of authority. And so they believe they are equal to their new boss. They believe they have a say in the organization and they were hired yesterday. These are the people who now, these children who go into relationships, and these kids believe that their partner should, now I'm not saying they're not going to be equal with their partner, but that they deserve everything, that there's no earning, that they have a very unhealthy, I'm just going to read this for you. So there's emotional stress, there's added responsibilities on that child because it leads to anxiety and depression, and they begin to put their own self-care at the bottom. They also believe that by bestieing somebody, they can use contempt to have power and control over others. So it's like, oh, it's manipulation and collusion. By colluding with you, we'll exclude this person and have power over them so I can get more of what I want. I can continue to use really toxic behavior over here, even though I'm using toxic behavior over here, but it's just manipulation and it looks like we're besties. It's still toxic. It can stunt personal growth. Teens miss out on their own development and exploration, which affects future relationships and careers, as I mentioned, because what they're learning is relationships are transactional. Relationships are a way to get what I want. I can manipulate you into getting what I want by making you my bestie, and I can manipulate this other person by treating them with complete contempt and also get what I want. It creates resentment and anger. They might feel burdened and resentment toward other siblings, because now one of the siblings is the bestie with a parent, but the other siblings aren't being treated that way. The other siblings, there's usually, in most cases, there's more than one child involved. Now you have one child that's like the golden child, the favorite, never works. And now you're increasing sibling rivalry. And these other kids have increased anxiety, depression, isolation, feeling not enough, because there's nothing they can do to seem to be the bestie of a parent, and they're being treated like a child, or in it like a normal, I don't mean treated like a child, I mean treated in a normal level of authority and hierarchy, which is good, but they're comparing it to this other child that's now the bestie, and they'll never reach it. And so they don't ever feel special. They don't ever feel, and feeling special is a natural, normal human need. Okay. If you are allowing your teen to use you as the go-to person in their life, awesome. I love it. Are you allowing them to be your equal, and have you vacated your role of parent to be their friend because you feel special, you feel chosen, and because you might not be getting that need met with your partner or in your marriage? It's very unhealthy. Are you using an older child as a co-parent to parent younger children? Because this one just seems so mature. They're just so responsible. They can take on so much more. That's parentification. Parentification is also when you are sharing information with the child, because you are so close, about your partner. Now you are using them as your therapist or friend, because your relationship with your partner isn't working, and you're sharing information that is not theirs to hear. You're sharing information with this child about their siblings that is not theirs to hear, because they are now your co-parent in this situation, because you're not feeling supported by the adult in your relationship that should be the co-parent. That's also parentification. This is very, very common. And again, it happens for 3 different reasons. The teenager wants to experience power and control over people. They don't understand healthy relationship dynamics yet, so they will use unhealthy ones, which we see all over in the movies and social media, everywhere, all the time. The second reason is because you, as the parent who's on the outs, is so worried about their mental health because of everything they've been through, that you are allowing them to treat you with disrespect for the betterment of them, which is making okay the way they're treating you. So that's a no. And the third reason is the parent who's being chosen, the special one, is allowing their insecurity to be filled, and they have vacated their role as parent, and they are no longer advocating for a basic level of respect because they want being chosen is more important. So I hope this has made this clear. I really would love for you to be courageous enough to dig into this video and see if this is showing up anywhere in your marriage and with your kids, because it does not, it amplifies, and it will get worse over time. It can be fixed. These are the kinds of things that I deal with families as a certified relationship systems coach. This is the view and perspective that I have, and helping parents, gorgeous, amazing, courageous, caring parents just like you, to undo these things, to get to right relationship, to a healthy relationship dynamic that is enjoyable and pleasurable and fulfilling for everyone, for you and for your partner and for your teen. If you're looking for support on that, please type support below once I post this, and I will send you the link for my free masterclass that has my proven 3-step framework for undoing a lot of this unhealthy relationship dynamic that, no shade to you, we're not taught, so that you can enjoy healthy relationship, day-to-day connection, open, easy conversations, even if you're not the chosen teenager's bestie. Yes. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, sorry, I'll address that later. Okay, thanks everyone for joining me today. I so appreciate you all being here. I will be here next Thursday talking about all things parenting teens.